Bitcoin is still stuck in a funny place. We're still range bound in the exact same place where we're either going to get a break up into the 30k range or a breakdown down to support, and both situations are going to be bullish in my opinion, because if we fall down to support, we still bounce up. But it's all getting a little bit more complicated. Now, before I show you why, I want to highlight to you guys that I've just finished making a video on Phantom against the dollar. There is a huge opportunity here with a potential 3x gain and some potentially very, very cool opportunities that are actionable right now. I've covered them on the second YouTube channel, linked down below, and I've then gone ahead and done the exact same thing on Binance coin against the dollar. I've made two very good videos on those two coins. They're both linked. The first link in the description down below takes you to my second channel, 𝐻𝐹lyz Daily. Check it out, subscribe, tick the bell. It's very time sensitive, powerful altcoin analysis, shorter videos, everything you've been asking for a long time. Check it out now while it's out. Here's something funny. Here's something funny that I want to show you with regards to Bitcoin. You know, we all hear about whales. We all hear about sharks in these markets. What we don't hear very much about is shrimps. But shrimps are people, are Bitcoin wallets that hold less than 1 Bitcoin. And what we've seen, according to Glassnode here, which is on-chain analysis and now analyzing the Bitcoin blockchain, is that the supply held by shrimps, wallets with less than 1 Bitcoin, has been rising quite a bit and has actually been increasing in intensity in terms of how much it's been rising. It's been accelerating. Now, there's two different things I want to talk about with regards to this shrimp change. Number one, that's good because it shows that retail interest is intensifying, and like small holders are coming back, they're owning more Bitcoin than ever. It's amazing, right? I mean, from a perspective of Bitcoin as a technology, this is the best thing we could be seeing. But retail traders are always the first ones to panic. They're the first ones to panic sell. They're the first ones to make very stupid decisions, generally. And that could turn into a problem for Bitcoin. Not right now. There's not really anything. There's no conclusion we can make from this information right now. Right? There's nothing we can say about this yet. But this will become relevant in the future. Previously, there was a long time ago, I was talking to you guys about the fact that so many people entered the crypto space back in 2021. That's not a good thing. That just means a lot of people can panic sell, right? And you don't like hearing these warnings, especially when I'm telling it to you when Bitcoin's all the way up here or all the way up here. It's not a very exciting thing to talk about, but that's why you come to this YouTube channel. You're getting very realistic, grounded analysis, and that unfortunately means confronting harsh truths. So it's an interesting sign. I like it. It's bullish right now, but it could turn into a problem. Now, back to the price just for a minute before we talk about some other very interesting things. There's actually something huge that I have to talk to you about with regards to the dollar. Very, very important. Probably the most important thing I can talk about on this channel just for now. If we do manage to get the drop down, one of the things that I'd be looking for is that potential retracement down to the 382 fib level. If we just draw a fib basically just off the where the trend really starts to get explosive to our current high, we do have a really nice 382 fib right here. Take a look at this. If I just drop these two lines, the 382, 33 levels, they're both basically the same in my opinion. They're both equally important. To me, it just paints a bit of a range, which makes it a little bit less precise, but therefore much more likely to actually play out and be real. Very, very good support level here. It's 25k, it's 24k. It's the same areas that you and I are very, very familiar with. And if we extend it back a little bit, the fibs do change very slightly, and it still shows us the exact same picture. So I still think that this is the best place for Bitcoin to fall down to if we end up dropping. Right now, nothing has changed. I know people are starting to tense up a little bit. It's been a long time. It's been 19 days that we've been in this range. It's starting to get a little bit uncomfortable. Fear and greed index still sitting at 62, whatever. Nothing crazy, nothing that's necessarily worth reading into. This is still in beta mode. We're still testing it and everything, so some of the data isn't showing up here, but it still is an interesting picture nonetheless. And fear and greed index just kind of just flatlining, really, just stuck it in the 60s and the high 50s, whatever. It's been here for a really, really long time now. So that is something that's worth taking a look at. But something much more significant though, to do with the dollar. This is definitely something that I want to highlight to you guys. It is to do with the Fed's Mester. This is someone who works at the Federal Reserve. Cleveland President Loretta Mester said on Tuesday that central bank likely has more interest rate rises ahead amid signs the recent banking sector troubles have been contained. So this means that they think that the banking crisis has now been kind of, thwarted a little bit. Like it's been kicked down the road a little bit. Can's been kicked a bit further down the road. We don't have to deal with it right now, so we can continue to raise interest rates, and specifically somewhat further into restrictive territory this year with the Fed funds rate moving above 5%. So that's what we're looking at, is the interest rate going above 5% or to 5% potentially this year, being some new news that's basically just broken here. And what's this is a big deal, because if we're looking at interest rates going up to 5%, that could just mean like less enjoyment in our markets, right? Less green, less fun in our markets. But more significantly than that, it could mean that the dollar starts to, show some strength. But in response to that, the dollar hasn't really done anything, right? Today is a bit of a green day for the dollar. I mean, a little bit, right? I mean, we are moving up, but it's down so heavy. It's really not rebounding very much at all. And it looks like it could lose its relevant area of support relatively soon. Now, here's another chart to show you. This is the dollar index with this big area of support that I've had outlined for a long time. It's basically the same area, right? Same area that I've been watching for a long time, this big green box. If we take a look at it right here, if we end up slipping below it, and we are very close to doing so, we could look at a massively, very quickly collapsing dollar. This is something that I spoke to you about in a recent video on this YouTube channel, so if you're subscribed, you're going to know all about that. And this, rising interest rates is exactly what directly contributes to, the dollar gaining strength. And if we do see stuff like that happening, generally when the dollar is gaining strength, the markets are trending down, right? That's a really important thing to keep in mind. This dollar uptrend kind of intensified a little bit in 2022, but that's exactly where all of our miseries began with the crypto market, right? That's exactly where all the miseries began in the stock markets and everything in between as well. So a rising dollar is bad for our investments. And right now it looks like this kind of rising interest rate issue, could definitely add a little bit more pressure on the dollar. So this is definitely worth keeping an eye on, because if we do start to see, look at this, between 4.75 to 5%, if we do start to see these kind of rates, I think that could, remove a lot of the buying pressure, and because of that, potentially even create some selling pressure as well, which is definitely worth keeping in mind. Now, the gold still holds its $2,000 position. This is great. Previously when gold broke up to $2,000, it would just get sent right back down very quickly. We had a few instances where that happened, over the last year or two. Right here, big daily candle here, but then a very big drop right here. Same thing, big daily candle and a very big drop. On this occasion, we're holding, so that's a really good sign. That's the furthest we've gotten so far, pretty much. If we end up closing today's candle up here as well, because we've never actually had two closes above $2,000, or like in this particular way, so this is great. This is basically a first for gold as far as I'm seeing here, especially in recent times in the last few years. So if we close this daily candle here, it's only going to take another 4 hours. Gold's going to be in a really good position to potentially consolidate and then continue to break higher. You guys know the deal. I'm seeing $2,500. I'm seeing $3,000. No matter what, I think gold is going very fucking high very quickly. So I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing there. S&P pulling back a little bit. So this is good. It's not a big retracement, but it is something. From high to low, we're only down by about 1%, but it has taken now 2 days, 2 trading sessions. We've got 2 hours left until this candle closes here. So I think that we're looking good with the S&P 500. If this continues to be a relatively shallow pullback, then to me that's going to mean exactly what I was expecting, where previously when we came up to this level we got a big pullback. This time we might not get such a big pullback, maybe something that looks a little bit like, not going, I don't know why I'm drawing circles, but not going lower than, let's say here, for example. It doesn't really matter, but just a shallow correction, right? This is a somewhat deep correction compared to what we're in right now, which is still a shallow one. So a bit of a shallow correction is what I've been expecting. Whatever, it doesn't really matter what we do, and then we continue to rise up, right? So that's a little bit of what I'm looking at with regards to the S&P 500. Really, as soon as the S&P 500 wakes up, and as soon as gold takes a really big fuck you candle to the upside, as soon as the dollar kind of collapses, or one of these things happen, or a multiple, or all of them happen, that's when I think Bitcoin will finally have a very good chance at rising up into the 30k range, which is still what I'm expecting. Now, in other news, Michael Saylor has also just managed to buy another 1,000 BTC. Take a look at this tweet right here. MicroStrategy has acquired an additional 1,045 Bitcoin for about $30 million at an average price of exactly where we are right now. Now, that means they now hold 140,000 Bitcoins, that's $4 billion, and their average entry is basically where Bitcoin is right now. So MicroStrategy is now nearly at break even. They were at a loss for a very long time. You guys will know that a lot of big institutions entered the space, but they all lost money, or a lot of them lost money, when they entered the space in 2021, 2022, whatever. So we're now starting to see that tide shift a little bit, which is definitely interesting to see. It's clear that if Michael Saylor is interested in buying some more Bitcoin here, if institutions are now finally reaching break-even, that we have reached quite a critical point in the market. We know that because of what's happening with Ethereum. We know that because of what's happening on the altcoins that I've covered on the second channel. Again, click that link down below. Watch those videos. They're short videos. They're quick. They're all available for you guys starting basically yesterday. Definitely take advantage of it if it's something that interests you. This is a really, really good time to be in the market, and an even better time to get your free $30,000. As you guys know, Bybit, with the link down below, when you sign up using that link, is going to give you up to 30k in trading ammunition that you can throw into the market, trade anything you like, and if you make profits, you can keep those profits, you can withdraw them, even if you traded with the free cash they gave you. Now, what's really cool about this is if you already have an account, you can just make a new one, and you still get access to the same content anyway. Very, very cool opportunity. If you want it, check it out with a link in the description down below, as well as these steps on screen to jump inside of VIP if you want to see how I'm trading these markets in real time. Moving back to Michael Saylor, though, definitely showing us that we're at quite an interesting point in the market where people are really watching quite closely to see what happens around this 28, 29, 30k level. So keep your eyes glued to this right now. This is the time to not lose focus. I know that consolidating for nearly 3 weeks and not really doing anything is boring. Trust me, I feel that too. But if you do start to lose your focus, if you do start to lose sight at moments like this, you will be left behind in a path of dust when things get very, very exciting. Trust me, it is keeping this kind of thing in mind that has allowed me to pull off this beautiful profit that you guys have seen me pull in VIP and in 4Flies Gold, the free 4Flies Telegram channel, which you can find links below. I've been able to pull off this kind of trade because I'm not losing focus when the market gets a little bit more boring. So guys, I'm really imploring you to please do the same, not to lose focus at times like this, because this is where big opportunities are right around the corner. Now, something that's important to note with regards to Michael Saylor's news, with regards to what happened, with the what was it? It was right here with shrimps, accumulating more Bitcoin, and we're showing very big signs of lots of optimism here. Is that the flip side of this is that it means we've got a lot of sellers, and we shouldn't forget that Michael Saylor does hold a lot of Bitcoin, right? So the fact that they're buying now, okay, cool, that's nice to see, but they have $4 billion. They have 140,000 Bitcoins that they can sell if and when Bitcoin sets a new all-time high, and so if Bitcoin does start printing new all-time highs and we're in a bull trend, MicroStrategy could decide to sell these Bitcoins, right? This is the flip side, is every time a lot of Bitcoins are bought, the only button you can press now is sell. And that's worth keeping in mind. Again, this is just the ugly flip side that people don't like to talk about, that they don't like to focus on or even acknowledge that it exists. But this is a really big deal, and it definitely holds a lot of relevance for Bitcoin, right? When we started to see big players start to sell off, the market stands no fucking chance. The market just sells off and collapses under itself every single time, because that's how Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is very speculative. Bitcoin is very exciting and sexy, so people only buy it when the numbers are going up. And naturally, that means we find ourselves in situations like what I've just been describing, where if that selling pressure does enter the market, I don't think there's going to be enough buying pressure to sustain 140,000 Bitcoins, or part of this holding being sold off. It's going to be a real big problem, I think, for them to take care of. So we're going to see how this goes, when institutional selling pressure, kind of re-enters the market. The good news is that generally they're going to be buying and selling over the counter, so it doesn't really affect the market very much, but it is still something that's worth paying attention to nonetheless. So an interesting point in the market. I'm still expecting the upside. Nothing has changed, so my analysis hasn't changed either. If we fall down, I'd love to find support at 24, 25k. It's interesting to see what's happening to the dollar. I don't like it if we start to see the interest rates rising. I don't want to see that continue to happen. I don't actually think it will happen. They talk a lot of shit, let's be honest. We already know this. They talk a lot of shit, when they're talking about interest rate targets or whatever the case may be. So it's just not something that I think is, worth worrying about too much. But at the same time, one of the big tools of the US government has been, like whenever things are about to get too bad, they'll just kind of artificially engineer a reason for example, the dollar to rally up again. And so maybe we just kind of find ourselves range bound like this for a little bit. That would definitely make sense throughout the course of 2023. That's actually exactly the kind of very boring, annoying, action that the dollar would probably undertake, right? So a little bit of a, falsely, fakely engineered, rally up for the dollar index right here with higher interest rates, kicking the can further down the road. And then here another catastrophe happens, so the dollar starts dropping. Standard model. We've been seeing this thing happen a million times. It is an absolute joke what's going on right now with all of this, with all of these issues. But it is still something that we can trade and take advantage of, so that that makes it a little bit closer to okay. If you want to get access to that free cash, and check it out with the link to Bybit. If you've enjoyed this one, you know what to do. One final time, make sure you check out the final channel. I really want you guys to be watching it if you enjoy that kind of content, because it's a lot of work for me. So if it's something that you like, then definitely go show that channel some love. And if not, I'll probably end up winding it down in a little bit. Like if it doesn't end up working out, but I will be going full force forward right now to see if you guys do actually like it, if you guys do actually enjoy it. So let me know by showing it some love, by checking it out if you think it's something that would be relevant to you. Posted some very good Ethereum analysis on it yesterday, some Phantom, some Binance coin. I'll be doing a lot more altcoins as well, just as they're hot. I was about to do 𝐴𝐵 as well, but had a little issue there. So anything that's trending, anything that's super hot, you're going to find it on that channel. There you go. Hope you've enjoyed this one. You know what to do if you have. Like, subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.